It starts silently, invisibly, with the first spoonful of sweetness in your morning coffee, the afternoon soda that promises a pick-me-up, or the late-night dessert you tell yourself you deserve after a long day. We've been conditioned to think of sugar as a harmless treat, a little reward, a quick source of energy. But what if I told you that beneath that sweet taste lies a slow, methodical, and potentially devastating destruction of the very organ that makes you, you? We are talking about your brain. We are diving deep into the startling truth about how our high-sugar diet isn't just expanding your waistline, it's actively shrinking your brain, fogging your memory, and quietly paving the way for severe neurological disorders. Forget what you know about calories and cavities for a moment, because the real war sugar is waging is happening inside your skull, and the battlefield is your mind. So, let's decode the science of what really happens inside your brain when sugar enters your system, and uncover the shocking ways this ubiquitous ingredient is rewiring your neurocircuits, stealing your focus, and putting your long-term cognitive health in serious jeopardy. To understand the destruction, you first have to understand the invasion. When you consume sugar, specifically the simple carbohydrate glucose, or its more insidious partner fructose, it enters your bloodstream and heads straight for your brain. Now, your brain is the most energy-hungry organ in your body, and it runs on glucose, so a little bit is necessary. But here's where the deception begins. The brain doesn't have a robust mechanism to stop the intake of sugar. When you eat a meal, your body releases leptin, the fullness hormone, to tell your brain you're satisfied. But sugar, especially in its highly processed forms like high fructose corn syrup, can interfere with leptin signaling. Your brain becomes leptin resistant, meaning it never gets the message to stop eating. You're full, but your brain doesn't know it, so you keep consuming. This is the first layer of the trap. Sugar doesn't just taste good, it actively disables your brain's ability to say when. This leads to a vicious cycle of overconsumption, and with every spoonful, the real damage to your brain's infrastructure begins. One of the most alarming areas of damage is to your memory and learning center, the hippocampus. This seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain is responsible for forming new memories and connecting them to emotions. High sugar diets have been directly linked to a reduction in brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Think of BDNF as the Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. It helps support the survival of existing neurons and encourages the growth of new ones, particularly in the hippocampus. When your diet is flooded with sugar, your BDNF levels plummet. It's like turning off the sprinklers in a garden. Without this crucial protein, your brain cells struggle to communicate, new connections can't form, and the hippocampus begins to atrophy or shrink. This isn't just a temporary brain fog, we're talking about a physical shrinking of the part of your brain responsible for memory. Studies have shown a direct correlation between high blood sugar and a smaller hippocampus, which is a primary marker for age-related cognitive decline and diseases like Alzheimer's, which some experts are now calling type 3 diabetes due to its strong link to insulin resistance in the brain. And that brings us to the core of the destruction, insulin resistance. You likely know insulin as the hormone that manages your blood sugar. Your pancreas releases it to shuttle glucose from your blood into your cells for energy. But your brain has its own insulin system, and it's absolutely vital. Insulin in the brain isn't just for energy management, it's a key regulator of thought and memory. It helps strengthen the synapses, the connections between neurons, which is the biological basis of learning and forming new memories. But when you constantly bombard your brain with sugar, your brain cells start to ignore insulin's signal. They become resistant. Just as a screaming parent is eventually ignored, the constant flood of insulin makes your brain cells turn a deaf ear. This cerebral insulin resistance is a catastrophe. It means your brain cells can't take up the glucose they need to function, effectively starving them even when there's plenty of sugar in your blood. More critically, with the insulin signal blocked, the process of strengthening memories is disrupted. You become foggy, forgetful, and find it harder to learn new things. You are, in a very real sense, eating away at your ability to think. The destruction doesn't stop with memory. Sugar is a master of deception when it comes to your brain's chemistry. It hijacks the same reward pathways as drugs like cocaine and nicotine. When sugar hits your tongue, it triggers a release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens, the brain's pleasure center. This flood of dopamine feels good, really good. Your brain is wired to remember what caused this pleasure and to seek it out again. This is a survival mechanism, but sugar overstimulates it.
Over time, as you consume more and more sugar, your brain's dopamine receptors become desensitized. The same amount of sugar doesn't produce the same high, so you need more sugar to get the same feeling of pleasure. This is the hallmark of addiction. You're not just craving a cookie, your neurochemistry is demanding a fix. This explains the powerful cravings, the loss of control, and the continued consumption despite knowing the negative consequences. Sugar has literally rewired your brain's reward system, making you a prisoner to your next sugar fix and creating a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation in the process. This chronic inflammation is the silent fire destroying your brain from the inside. High sugar intake triggers the production of harmful molecules called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are exactly what they sound like. They accelerate aging. When sugar molecules bind to proteins or fats, they form these AGEs, which are like rust forming on the delicate machinery of your brain cells. This process stiffens blood vessels and damages tissues, leading to oxidative stress and widespread inflammation. The brain is particularly vulnerable to this inflammatory assault. This chronic inflammation is a key driver in the development of depression and anxiety. We often think of these as purely emotional or chemical imbalances, but they have a profound inflammatory component. The constant state of low-grade brain inflammation caused by sugar disrupts the delicate balance of neurotransmitters, contributing to mood swings, fatigue, and a general sense of unease. You might be trying to fix your mood with more sugar, but you're simply pouring fuel on the inflammatory fire. So, what can you do to stop this destruction and start healing your brain? The first step is awareness. You have to see sugar for what it is, not a treat, but a neurochemical threat. This isn't about never eating sugar again, it's about taking back control. Start by identifying the hidden sugars. It's not just the candy bar, it's the pasta sauce, the salad dressing, the yogurt, the healthy granola bar. They all harbor massive amounts of added sugar. The next step is to stabilize your blood sugar. You can do this by pairing any carbohydrate with protein, fat, or fiber. Eating an apple alone will spike your blood sugar, but eating an apple with a handful of almonds will slow the absorption and protect your brain from that insulin spike. Then you need to actively support your brain's repair systems. This means incorporating foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like wild-caught salmon and walnuts, which are powerful anti-inflammatories. It means getting enough sleep, because that's when your brain physically cleans itself. And it means moving your body, because exercise increases BDNF, that miracle grow for your brain that sugar suppresses. The science is clear. The sugar-laden modern diet is not just making us sick, it's quite literally eroding our minds. It's stealing our focus, clouding our memories, and setting the stage for devastating neurological decline. But your brain has an incredible capacity for healing, a quality called neuroplasticity. When you stop the constant assault of sugar and start feeding your brain the right fuel and support, you can begin to reverse the damage. You can clear the fog, sharpen your memory, and protect your future self. The choice in front of you is profound. Every meal, every snack is a vote for the kind of brain you want to have. You can continue to let the invisible destruction happen, or you can decide to decode the science and take back control of your mind. The power to reshape your brain, to truly decode yourself, starts with the very next thing you put on your plate.